Hi, Gemini. So let's do a 12 house spread for you today so we can kind of see all of the different energies and different aspects that are happening in your life. So we have the 9 of Wands, Strength, 3 of Wands, 8 of Pentacles, the Kindred, which is the Lovers in this particular deck, Knight of Cups, underneath, 4 of Wands, 10 of Wands, Judgment, Knight of Wands, 9 of Swords, the Hermit. Underneath everything is the Ace of Pentacles. So the aces show up generally when the universe wants to give you something. The universe wants to give you some kind of an opportunity in a tangible form because it's the Ace of Pentacles. So whether this is a person, a resource, money, it's usually a reward coming from the universe because you have fought a lot of silent battles is what I'm really getting, that you've been working so hard at something and you feel like it's been thankless, but the universe saw it all and the universe wants to give you some kind of a reward, some kind of opportunity, some kind of resource. So let's go through all of your 12 houses. I've laid one card in each of the 12 houses, 1 through 6 here and 7 through 12 here, but I always read the houses as 1 and 7, 2 and 8, and so on. The way that they go across the zodiac wheel from each other, it just makes more sense to me that way. So you'll see as we go, and I'll explain as we go. But in your first house, you have this 9 of Wands. So it feels to me, the 9 of Wands is a card of purpose. It's you're still doing something, even though you might be the last one standing, that you might be the only one still fighting for this thing, but you believe in it so much that you're not giving up, that you may be reminiscing in this energy, or you may be even dwelling in this energy. I don't know yet. Well, hopefully we'll see as we go, but it's something that you're continuing to fight for. And that's where I was getting this. You're fighting silent battles that no one really sees the work and the effort you're putting into something, because in the 9 of Wands, you're the only person in that picture. You're the only person in that energy, that you're the only person still fighting for this thing. And that, I believe, is why the universe wants to give you this reward. In your 7th house, we have the 4 of Wands. I like this because this is our house of balance. And it's always great to see a 4 in the house of balance, that there are people around you who maybe support you, want to celebrate you. You have partners that are very helpful, that you've maybe perhaps reached milestones with. So it feels like there's nothing really off as far as your interpersonal relationships. It feels like there's no dishonesty or deception or trickery, or sometimes those things that show up in these readings. It feels like you have a good solid base when it comes to your interpersonal relationships. So I like that. But it also feels like you're kind of riding solo when it comes to whatever this is, your purpose and what you're working towards. But it's not to say that you don't have a good support system. So those are two, they can be mutually exclusive, in other words. In your 2nd house, you have Strength. So the 2nd house is your house of resources. And when you see the card Strength in a 2nd house, it generally tends to mean that you have had to face some fears. It's required your courage. So maybe perhaps you haven't seen as many resources as you would like to see. But with Strength being a major arcana in the house of resources, it feels to me like you're about to cross some kind of a threshold. And this Ace of Pentacles is backing me up on that. The Ace of Pentacles is saying you're about to get some kind of a breakthrough when it comes to your resources, that it's coming. You may even feel it coming because we have a major arcana in your house of resources, but it could be because you faced some fears, or because you were still fighting those silent battles that I keep seeing for you, Gemini. So then in your 8th house, we have the 10 of Wands. And so The 8th house is your house of transformation, and the 10 of Wands is another card of purpose. So we have the 9 of Wands and the 10 of Wands. This is you. This is you taking on all of those burdens, all of the responsibilities because you believed in it. And that's exactly what I was getting from this 9 of Wands, that you have such a strong belief in what you are doing. There's so much purpose in what you are doing that it's actually transforming you. Your energy is changing. Your energy is transforming because you weren't afraid to take this on. Most people would shy away from a 10 of Wands, but you did it voluntarily because you knew it was meant to be. It was your purpose, whatever that is for you, which again is why you're being rewarded by some kind of resource. So then in your 3rd house, you have the 3 of Wands. So your 3rd house is your house of sharing. And so this is generally what you talk about or how you spend your days or who you spend your days with. This is your everyday existence. But we have the 3 of Wands. The 3 of Wands is a card of anticipation, but again, it's a very solo energy. So it feels like whatever you're doing in your daily life, your daily workload, whatever this purpose is for you, it's meant for you and you only. And that it feels like it's like you don't really have anyone that you're specifically bonding with when it comes to taking on this responsibility. This is you, this is you, this is you, standing on the shore alone, but knowing that even though you don't really have anyone to confide in about this, there's no one here fighting these battles with you, but you still have this knowing, this anticipation that whatever this is you're working on is really starting to come in for you. It just makes sense to you, even if it doesn't make sense to other people, which is why I really like this 4 of Wands in your 7th house, because this tells me that even though the people around you might not understand what you're doing or why you're doing it, but they support you anyways. And I love that for you there. So then in the 9th house, we have Judgment. And so the 9th house is generally our house of purpose. And that's exactly that's the whole sentiment of this reading, is that you're taking on something on your own that might be heavy, that might feel alone. It might feel like silent battles. It might feel like it's never happening. But that is the thing. You're doing it because you feel so confident about it. It's like you had this call. You're being called to do this. This is something that you feel like you know is meant for you. You know you're meant to stay steadfast in it, regardless of how lonely or how heavy it feels. You're just answering the call. And the universe loves that. When you put faith over fear, that's when you start getting your rewards. And I kind of see all this coming for you, Gemini, truly. So let's keep going. In your 4th house, we have the 8 of Pentacles, which does not confuse me or even surprise me, because this is you with your head down, you're working. This is your day-to-day. This is your house of home. So whatever this is you're working on, your head is down, you're diligent. The 8 of Pentacles is about knowing there's a huge task to undertake, but you're doing it anyway. You don't stop. The 8 of Pentacles is very enterprising. They take on large tasks. They make pentacle after pentacle after pentacle. In this case, it's brick after brick after brick, but you do it. It's the same energy that you're giving me with this 10 of Wands, that you are not afraid to do this work and you're doing it every day. So then in your 10th house, you have the Knight of Wands, and this is your house of enterprise. And so I feel like you are really pursuing this and you're doing it enthusiastically. And I'm getting that. We have wands here, wands here, wands here, wands there. So the Knight of Wands is someone who goes enthusiastically after what they believe in. This to me is the court card of purpose. This is the knight who follows their purpose. They act on it. They act on their passions. They act on their intuitions. They act on their inspiration, their imagination. And that's what I feel. This is perfectly representing you in this reading, Gemini, because that's all I can see from this reading is you enthusiastically pursuing your purpose, regardless of how much work it is, regardless if people don't understand it, you're doing it anyway. So then in your 5th house, we have the Kindred, which is the Lovers. And so this, I feel, because the fifth house is your house of pleasure, it feels again like you have kindred spirits. You have people who keep you buoyant. You have people who keep cheering for you, even if they don't know what in the world it is you're doing or why you're doing it. This is giving the same feeling that your seventh house was giving me, that you have interpersonal relationships. You could have a love relationship with the Lovers and the Four of Wands. You could have a spouse or a confidant or a lover or it could be a friend, it could be a relative, it doesn't matter. But the point is, you have someone, at least someone, maybe more than one, because it's showing up in your fifth and your seventh house, that you could just be filled with people who want to support you. These could be fans, these could be followers, these could be clients, these could be, make it make sense for you. That there's a lot of people that want to see you succeed, Gemini. That's exactly what this is telling me. So then in your house of blessings, in your 11th house, you have the Nine of Swords. And so this is kind of telling me that, you know what, hold on, I want to go back to these lovers really quickly here too, because there's another message coming from that card. This is telling, somehow there's a message coming through here, so just bear with me, that there is, it's like these are your cheerleaders trying to tell you to keep going, to start something. It's almost like this pilgrimage. It's like you are the spearhead of something, or you're doing something that no one's ever done before, which might be why people don't get it. So anyway, that's, I'm getting that very distinctly from that card, that you're doing something that no one's ever done before. So make that make sense for you. So let's go back to your house of blessings. We have the Nine of Swords. So the Nine of Swords, yes, it's a terrible energy. It's very stressful. It's highly painful even. But the Nine of Swords in your house of blessings tells me that there is an opportunity here. There is an opportunity for you to see that this is all in your head, that this is not real. These 9 swords are not real. These are your thoughts, and your thoughts are not real. You only make them real. You convince yourself that they're real, but you can just as quickly convince yourself that they're not real. Thoughts are so instantaneous. They can come and go. At one minute you could say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this responsibility on. But then the next minute you're going to say, oh, it's too much. I can't do this. I'm tired. No one's supporting me. Nobody understands me. I don't have any resources. I'm running out of hope here. But then you can quickly switch back into, yeah, but I'm being called to do this. So see how those thoughts aren't real because they keep changing. So I feel like this being in your house of blessings is telling you that this is an opportunity for you to see that clearly, that your thoughts aren't real. They're just thoughts, and you can change them on a whim. You really can. And I get this strong feeling that your ancestors and your guides are trying to offer you guidance right now. With this kindred here, this could very well be a spirit guide here who's showing up to say, pay close attention to the signs that you're on the right track. Because if you start convincing yourself you're not on the right track, that's when it's all going to fall apart. Because right now, everything in here is telling me this is your purpose. But it's just you and your own doubts, perhaps, that are slowing things down. But honestly, I don't even really see it slowing down that much. This is, if you feel like it's not coming in fast enough, it's because of the way perhaps you talk to yourself, or the way you're doubting yourself, or the way you're not believing or not seeing the milestones that you've already reached. So then in your 6th house, we have the Knight of Cups, which makes perfect sense because this is the house of health and service. And this is you. And this is you. You're showing up as these knights. You're doing right now. You are really pursuing your path of service. You're following your heart. You're following the call, which is what the Knight of Cups does. You're following the inspiration. You're following the passion, which is what the Knight of Wands does. So this is just you. It feels like you're really just humming along. You're in full alignment, which is exactly why this reward is about to come in. And then in your house of sacrifice, the 12th house, you have the Hermit, which also makes very good sense here because you had to do this alone. And that was the sacrifice. You knew that doing this, following this purpose, going along this road, whatever this is for you, whatever you're doing that people are trying to understand, you knew that that flame of inspiration was only coming from inside of you. And so even though you had cheerleaders all around you and spirit guides all around you, you're feeling like, but you had to do so much of this on your own. You were the last one standing with this fight. You took on all these burdens. There's only one person in this card taking on all these burdens. That was you. So it was like you made this greater sacrifice by taking this burden on your own, but now you're about to birth something into reality for humanity, for some purpose-driven type of endeavor. And you're going to be rewarded for it, Gemini. This could not be any clearer to me. This was like such an easy reading to read because of the way the energy came through and the way you're showing yourself to me, that just stay on this path and use this opportunity to understand that thoughts are not real. Thoughts are just created and you can change them instantaneously. So there you go, Gemini. Please let me know what you're working on if you feel like it, and let me know how this resonated for you. And we will do this again sometime. Thanks, everybody. Bye.